you know what? When you and I take up this call and we talk about abortion, if we speak about it in church, we're told we're too political. If we speak about it in the political arena, we're told we're too religious. If we speak about it in the world of the media, it's too disturbing. In the world of business, it's too distracting. In the world of education, it's too controversial. In the streets, it's too disruptive. So abortion, if abortion is wrong, where do we go to say so? We go into the churches, we go into politics, into the media, into business, into education, and into the streets. Some churches haven't wanted to get involved in political hassles with the government, so they've been silent on abortion. They didn't want to get involved in hassles from the government. They didn't want to take the fight to the government. So now with the HHS mandate, the government took the fight to them. And when it comes to that mandate, we've got a simple message. We will obey God rather than men. As Alveda can tell us, her uncle said one day to the civil rights movement, we've got a lot of obstacles in our way, but we're not going to let anything turn us around. We're not going to let no dogs turn us around, no water hoses turn us around, no police clubs or jail sentences, and we're not going to let any injunctions turn us around. And so today I say to you, in the pro-life movement, no Planned Parenthood is going to turn us around. No biased media is going to turn us around. No HHS mandate is going to turn us around. No Obama administration is going to turn us around. We are marching for a certainty. And it's not only the certainty that we will arrive at the day of victory for the unborn, it is a certainty that the power which now dismembers them and crushes them and throws them in the garbage is a power which at its root has already been defeated.
Well, I'll tell you, Father Frank, it's amazing that we're actually sharing the stage with you. When Jason and I were kids, we met you in 1988.
Yes.
You look the exact same. He's got the same hair, the same glasses, and the same outfit. In 1991, that was the height of abortion. It was 2,197 freestanding abortion clinics in America. Today, thanks to the work of Priests for Life and other organizations and Christians and Catholics joining hands and uniting for life, there are less than 600 freestanding abortion clinics in America.
Just 50 days before we re-elect our president. Now, those of you that are Americans, I speak precisely and especially to you. We have an audience that joins us from around the world, and we welcome all of you. And I know you understand, this is a moment of great national pride. We're going to re-elect the most pro-America president that we've ever had, the most effective president we've ever had. And brothers and sisters, that's what unites us. Success unites. And that's one of the things I want to focus on tonight. I'm going to play you a few moments from the conclusion of last night's rally that the president had in Las Vegas, Nevada, just outside of Las Vegas, Henderson actually. And it contains thoughts. I want to reflect on it first, show you the clip, and then reflect on it a little bit more. And then, of course, as always, I'm happy to take your questions. But here's the point I want to make tonight, which is really very simple. One of the reasons President Trump is the greatest president that we've had in a long time and perhaps ever is he knows how to unite the country. Those who don't see this are simply blind. He unites precisely because he goes back to the founding principles on which the country stands. And there's the principles, and pointing to those principles and defending those principles against enemies, foreign and domestic. And then there's another formula to that powerful success of uniting people, namely that there is a truth to saying success unites. If you've got a team, okay, it may be a sports team, it may be a staff in a company, co-workers in a company, it may be a parish, it may be a family. You tell me, when is that team, that group, those co-workers, that family, that parish, when are you most united? When is it easiest to feel united, to kind of rejoice in the various people that are part of that group? When is it easier to be united and to feel united and to act in unison? When you're having success or when you're failing in the mission that you've united to carry out? When is it easier to have unity? It's obviously easier to have unity when you have success. You know, sometimes people, they're scratching their heads and they're trying to figure out, well, how do we bring this group together? How do we unite? Well, it's one of the keys to uniting is succeed. See, a lot of times people think about it the other way around, and they say, well, you know, we have to unite first in order to succeed. And of course, there's truth in that. But the fact of the matter is that the more successful you are, the more united you will be. And this is the formula that the president is working out in our country now. He's focusing in on success. He's bringing success. And then he's saying to the American people, this is yours. It's not his success or our success or someone else's success. He's always focusing on the fact that it is our success together as Americans. Success in keeping our country safe. Success in keeping our country in fair relationships with other countries. Success in our economy. Success in the strength of our military. Success in defending our freedom. Success in allowing opportunity for people to find work, to find health care, to find the opportunities in America by being able to immigrate into this country without getting cut on the line from those who are forcing their way in and then draining the resources that ought to be going to the people that are here already who are standing on line in order to come in legally. Success for businesses to flourish instead of being drowned out by oppressive government regulations. Success for believers to be able to live and practice and bear witness to their faith. Success for a campus to have a free exchange of ideas by defending the free speech of those on the campus. All of these are things that the president is doing and has done. Success by lifting millions of people out of poverty, lifting them up off of food stamps. Success unites. The families are more content. A success in having school choice, for example, which the president strongly defends. The success brings unity. You know what else? The success brings unity because the president focuses on the principles that draw us together. Our faith, the faith of our founders, our symbols, our national anthem, and our American flag. Now, people might think that, these are not as weighty as the big matters of policy and Washington, D.C., or legislation or fair trade agreements. No, but look, this is an aspect of unity. The symbols in which you believe, the symbols that draw you together, what unites us as Americans? The flag, the national anthem. The president mentions this in his speeches. You're one nation, and therefore you salute one flag. I always have the flag here in our broadcast, standing right next to me here. We have our great American flag. It contains so much symbolism, so much meaning. And this flag doesn't say, well, we're for, black Americans but not for white. We're for white Americans but not for black. We're for Asian Americans but not Hispanics. We're for Hispanic Americans and not Asians. This is not the Asian flag or the Hispanic flag or the black flag or the white flag. It's the American flag. That's why the president focuses on the flag. You remember at the CPAC conference one year when he spoke just a couple of years ago, he came out onto the stage, people were applauding for him, and he went over to the flag and he embraced the flag. Yeah, an unusual gesture, but the people loved it. They knew exactly what he was doing. And who in our country, more than the president of the country, should show that spontaneous and somewhat unorthodox expression of what? Of what exactly should be uniting us. Our love for the flag that symbolizes the opportunity that we all have to make it in America, to succeed in America, to have a family, to have a business, to have freedom, to have worship, to have the protection of our life. There's one American flag. There's one national anthem. There's one anthem that when you say it's the national anthem, you don't even have to say the Star-Spangled Banner. Everybody knows. That's what it is. And Americans are able to sing it together, just like they're able to recite the Pledge of Allegiance together. Oh, say does that Star-Spangled Banner yet wave, or the land of the free and the home of the brave. Everybody knows what we're talking about. No matter what your ethnicity, no matter what your age, no matter what your religious background, no matter what your economic status, no matter what your political party. Do any of those groups, do any of those distinctions among us make us sing a different national anthem? No. It's one national anthem. So the president talks about our national anthem, he talks about our flag, and here's the other thing he talks about. I'm going to play the clip in a moment. Our history. When he gives these rally speeches, and I'm always urging you to watch them, and we'll play them and replay them between now and the day when we re-elect him 50 days from now, he focuses on our history because, again, we have that in common. We have a great history of people who have sacrificed themselves for that flag and for the freedoms that it represents. And the history is not different. American history is not different depending on who you are or what kind of differences you have. It's what helps unite the country. Unites the country. As Christine is saying, the Democrats endorsed the black national anthem. Now, different ethnicities can have their own songs and anthems, and of course, that's perfectly legitimate. But you see what's happening there. If you start putting the anthem of one or another group, if you start trying to assert it in place of the national anthem, well, then you tell me who is being divisive. Carol from Minnesota, thank you for it. Minnesota's winnable by President Trump. A Republican hasn't won that state in the presidential election since 1972. It can happen this year. You Minnesotans are doing a great job standing up for the president. Linda, welcome. Of course we welcome you. Linda says she's not Catholic, but she watches our program here. We welcome you warmly. One of the most joyful things I do in my work is interacting with folks that are not Catholic but nevertheless believe in the values that we all fight for, and you are most welcome, as are all of you brothers and sisters who are not Catholic, who some of you may not even be Christian. We welcome you all, and we're all, see, and this is the point that I'm making. We're united. There's a lot of things that unite us. So America, why is it that this is the country that 1 million people a year get welcomed into as immigrants? 1 million a year. Tell me what other country has that many people seeking to come to it every single year and successfully welcomed in legally. Why do they come? Because this country was not founded on geography. It was not founded on ethnicity. It was founded on principles. See, and again, this is why our president is a uniter. It was founded on principles of liberty and equality and dependence on God and the right to life. This attracts people. We are the only country that is still living on its original constitution. Did you realize that? Not even the Vatican has today the Constitution as a city-state that was there at its founding. We're operating today, every legislator and every judge is living out an oath that they swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution. How many constitutions of the United States have there been, my friends? Ever since 1787, when it was ratified. 1776, of course, was the Declaration of the Principles on which our country was founded. And then came the Constitution some years later, which is the how-to, the mechanics, the procedure manual, if you will, of how this government, based on those principles articulated in the Declaration, was to live them out. How many constitutions of the United States are there? Only one. We are still operating today with legislators and judges who have sworn their oath on the Constitution of the United States, the same Constitution that every legislator and judge in our history has sworn allegiance to. That's powerful. That unites us. This is not an imposition of forcing people to believe any particular way they don't want to believe, or worship any way they don't want to worship, or it's not forcing inequality. Where is the inequality? It's exactly the opposite. It's equality, equal opportunity. Everybody who comes here, including those 1 million immigrants a year, are able to succeed. We don't have, we've got folks on the other side. They're really, 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 really bad. And they are dividing this country by doing exactly the opposite of what the president does. Instead of upholding its history, they're trashing its history. This is what's behind this ridiculous, chaotic tearing down of statues. They want to erase our history. They want to cancel out our history because they don't believe in it. And they think it's negative. Well, that's what's divisive. That's what's divisive. Because this country is filled with people that love our history, believe in our history, are building on our history. You don't come in and say you love America and then tear down its statues, despise its history, burn its flag. Those are the divisive actions. And those are the things that the president says we cannot and will not tolerate. People can express their views. Of course you can express your views. There's all kinds of... America is built on the fact that, yes, you can criticize the government. And you can work to make changes in the government. Register to vote, choose wisely, lobby your elected officials, work together with them, make your views known through the mechanisms of freedom of speech that are everywhere around us. It's not an imposition of the same ideas. The president is emphasizing and rallying us around the very principles that allow for the diversity and that allow for the opportunity for all of us to be who we want to be. Well, listen, I want you to listen to the last few moments of the speech from last night's rally in Nevada. I'm going to play those. And I want you to notice all the different things that the president says about what I just said. Remember, 2 pillars here. He's a uniter. And the pillars by which he's uniting are success, okay? Success unites. Keep that in mind. Not only does success unite, but then I want you to think about that the principles and the history and the symbols unite. Let's listen to the president, and then we'll analyze what he said a little bit more. This was from last night in Henderson, Nevada.
If elected, charter schools are gone, and charter schools have been great. In a second term, I'll provide school choice to every parent in America. A vote for Republicans is a vote for safe communities, great jobs, a limitless future for all Americans. It's really a vote for the American dream. That's what it is. It's the American dream versus the American nightmare. Instead of letting Washington change us, despite all that we've been through, we are changing Washington. So in concluding this wonderful afternoon, and again, Don, thank you very much. But in concluding this wonderful afternoon, and if the governor comes after you, which he shouldn't be doing, I'll be with you all the way. I'll be with you all the way. Don't worry about it, though. Over the next 4 years, we'll be making America into the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we'll end our reliance on China once and for all. We will make our medical supplies right here in the United States. We will rapidly return to full employment, soaring economies, and record prosperity. We will expand opportunity zones, and we will continue cutting taxes and regulations at a level that nobody has ever seen before. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, surge federal prosecutors into high-crime communities, and we'll be watching the ballots very closely also, by the way. And we will ban sanctuary cities. We will appoint prosecutors, judges, and justices who believe in enforcing the law, not in enforcing their own agenda. We will ensure equal justice for citizens of every race, color, religion, and creed. We will defend the dignity of work and the sanctity of life. We will uphold religious liberty, free speech, and the right to keep and bear arms. We will strike down terrorists who threaten our citizens, and we will keep America out of these endless, ridiculous foreign wars, all coming back. We will maintain America's unrivaled military might, and we will ensure peace through strength. $2.5 trillion. Have the strongest military we've ever had. Beautiful, brand new equipment. When I took it over, it was totally depleted, our military. We have the greatest equipment that any military has ever even conceived of. Things that people have no idea what we have, and let's keep it that way. We will end surprise medical billing, require price transparency already signed, further reduce health insurance premiums, and the cost of prescription drugs will be dropping like a rock very soon. The drug companies do not like me too much. It's a favored nations clause I signed. We will strongly protect Medicare, and your Social Security will be totally secure, and we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. America will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars. When I took over, NASA was a shell of itself. It was closed. They had grass growing in the runways. Grass growing in the runways. Now it's the #1 space center in the world by far. We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. We will live by the timeless words of our national motto, "In God we trust," and we're going to keep it that way. For years, you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for your state, Nevada. So get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors, get your coworkers, and on November 3rd or sooner, get out and vote. From Carson City to Elko, from Las Vegas to Reno, from Minden to right here in Henderson, we stand on the shoulders of red-blooded American patriots who poured out their heart, sweat, and soul to secure our liberty and defend our great freedom. Nevada was founded by pioneers and prospectors, miners and cowboys, innovators and trailblazers who tamed the frontier, raised up the mighty Hoover Dam, transformed a sprawling desert into a shining oasis, and inspired the world with the brilliant lights of the Vegas Strip. Our American ancestors made this into the greatest nation ever to exist on the face of the earth, and we are going to make it greater than ever before. That's what we're doing. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are, you know the story, going to keep on working, going to keep on fighting, and going to, like these guys, keep on winning, winning, winning. You hear that, Colby? You hear that, Justin? Okay? He's fighting a tough customer, but I don't know. I think maybe I'm in Vegas. I'll have to place. Is the president allowed to place a bet? I don't know. He'll say, the president of the United States just placed 2 bets, Justin and Colby. I don't know. I don't know. But they are great. That'd be easy money. Well, maybe not that easy. I don't know. It's that easy. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Nevada, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, friends, so what did you hear there? You heard a uniter. Let me use the board here a little bit here. Oh, what's happening to my... All right. He's a uniter. What a uniter is going to say is that we make America great, is that we are one nation, as he said, one movement, one people, one family. That sound like a divider? One people, one movement. Notice he calls his election campaign, and he did this the first time around too, and it's true. He doesn't just call it a campaign. He says, no, it's more than that. It's a movement. You know why? Because it's not just about him and his election team, or even his party. It's about you and me. It's about the American people. That's why it's a movement. That's why he has these big rallies. That's why he loves being with the people. You ever notice how much he just enjoys being president? You see, people don't understand the sense of humor that President Trump has. We who understand him, there's a saying that goes around about the president. We who understand him, we don't take his humor literally, but we do take what he says seriously. For example, at the beginning of the rally, he said, yes, we're going to win 4 more years, and then after that, we'll negotiate for another 4. We understand how he talks. We understand his humor. And he tries to be funny, and he honestly enjoys being president. You can see it when you watch him, when you see him in these rallies. We don't take it literally. We don't go away and say, "Oh, you see, this is terrible. He doesn't believe in the limitations of a president can only serve 2 terms." And he's. No, we don't waste time. We don't waste time taking literally what he didn't mean literally, but we take him seriously when he says, we're going to win and we have to win. And when he says, and we're going to go for another 4, you know why he says that? Because he knows that he is bringing such success and such greatness and such prosperity and such strength and such safety and such liberty and such values back to America that this is what people want forever. So we take it seriously that he's grabbing onto the things that we do want our nation to have perpetually. His critics take him literally when he makes these remarks, but they do not take him seriously. This is an interesting difference, between us who support our president and the never-Trumpers and the sick Trump derangement syndrome people, and they are sick. They are literally sick. Okay, little aside. But you notice what he says in this speech. We are one movement. We are one people. We are one family. And we are one glorious nation under God. Now, at the Democrat convention, some of the caucuses, they must have had a bone stuck in their throat. Cat got their tongue because they couldn't say the words under God. That's divisive. You want to talk about who's divisive? Go ahead and have a national convention and on national television, take what the vast majority of America believes in, has believed in for over 200 years, and it's in its national motto. It's on our currency. People living out faith in God every day, fighting for their faith. You want to be divisive? We have a Pledge of Allegiance. It says what it says. Drop the words under God. Oh yeah, that really unites people, doesn't it? The president knows people are free not to believe in God. They're even free not to believe in Brian Watkins. They're free not to believe in God. Brian Watkins is free not to believe in me. He's a disgrace, but people are free to have their opinions. We are one glorious nation under God, he tells us. And under one nation that brings the nation together, including people who don't believe in any particular religious faith. This is where we have our freedom. You know why? Because if we are under God, and he stresses earlier in the speech too, we will always live by our national motto, in God we trust. The Declaration of Independence is independence from a tyrant. What was his name? Was it King Brian? Yeah, I think it was King Brian. The dependence on God, when we say we are under God, you know what that means, brothers and sisters? That nobody else can own us and nobody can oppress us. That's what it means. Can't have slavery. Can't have segregation. Not even one's family can oppress them. We have rights that come from God, and that's what makes us equal and free. One nation under God. These are principles that unite. Now, we are returning power. Here's another principle of this uniting force that the president is and that his speeches convey. Because when he talks about power, he always focuses on returning power to, what does he say? The president, right? The dictator. No, he doesn't say that. We are going to return power to the courts. Well, courts already have too much power. He doesn't say that either. Let's see. Is it, Brian, help me out here. He's going to return power to Brian. He's going to return power to the Congress, right? Going to return power to whom? To you, the American people. Now, he expresses this in many different ways. Let's look at which ones come to mind. Does he mean what he's saying here? He's going to return power? This is why it makes me laugh. How some people, I don't know where, these are Trump derangement syndrome people, who call the president a dictator, or say he doesn't believe in the Constitution. Nothing could be further from the truth. He talks about exactly the opposite, and he does it, returning power to you, the American people. How? Well, in one way, deregulation. He has taken away more government regulations than any president in history. And when there are regulations, it crushes businesses. You got to spend so much time and money following all the regulations or even trying to understand them. Oh, you can't hire more employees to do the work that'll help you grow. Deregulation returns power to you, the American people. How about this? Second Amendment. One of the biggest, you see this in every one of these rallies. I watch each and every one of them. I hope you do too. We've got them all there on our website. When he talks about the right to keep and bear arms, the crowd goes crazy. Keep and bear arms. The Second Amendment, and he warns us, the Democrats, the ludicrous party of this country, really should go out of existence altogether. Like Diamond and Silk say, vote red, R-E-D, remove every Democrat. Every single one of them needs to be removed. But when the president talks about the Second Amendment, he warns on how these wacko Democrats want to get rid of it. What is that? Do dictatorships do that? Socialist countries? Look at the history. Look at Venezuela. Look at the history of socialist countries. What happened over there in Russia? Read the history. When these countries want to centralize power, as some people think the president does, they take away the people's firearms. Hey, Beto O'Rourke, are you out there somewhere? Wacko. They take away people's firearms when they want to centralize power in the government. The president wants to do exactly the opposite. He wants to return power to the American people. He wants you to have your firearms. And you know what? In the vision of our founders, for the citizenry to have their own firearms is one of the ways, the many ways that our Constitution and our Bill of Rights protects us against the government. You know, some people are very deceived and they say, oh, well, Father Frank, you know, separation of church and state. I don't have the first idea what that means. It's the protection of the church from the intrusion of the government is what it is. It's not the inability of the church to influence the government. It's the other way around. It's the protection of the church and of you, the American people and the believers, to exercise our religious freedom without constraint from the government. And that's another reason how the president is returning power to you, the American people, religious liberty. He's returned power to us here at Priests for Life. We were told that we had to offer early forms of abortion in our health insurance policies that we give to our employees. President Trump stepped in and said, no way. When we can conduct our business affairs and our we employ 50 people here at our ministry, when we can conduct our day-to-day affairs and carry out our ministry without the government telling us that we have to bend over backwards and even violate our faith in order just to survive without having terrible taxes or fines imposed on us, then that frees us up. That gives us power. That returns power to you, the American people. He wants us to do our work. He says to the priests, he had actually issued an executive order telling the clergy that he wants us to speak our mind from the pulpit, even if it means saying political things. That's exactly the opposite of the intrusion of the state on the church. That's the real separation of church and state. When President Trump stands up, as he did in May of 2017, and he issues an executive order, and he says to us in the clergy, we want to hear what you have to say. I have instructed the government that they are not going to punish you. They are not going to persecute you for speaking your mind. You speak from the pulpit what you believe God wants you to say. That's returning power to us, the American people, who believe in our church, who believe in the Word of God. That's not concentrating power in the government. That's just the opposite. And when we're able to do our work without hindrance, that's how we succeed. The whole country, everybody succeeds. That's how we help the poor. The little sisters of the poor weren't able to serve the poor because the Obama and Biden were telling them they have to pay for contraception and abortion in their health insurance. But that's ridiculous. They can't do their work when they're feeling like that. So, I'm returning power to you, the American people. Bringing more jobs is more power. Why do you think he says America first? America first, fair trade deals. Now, friends, we've got to learn about this stuff. He's a uniter. The USMCA, the United States-Mexico Canada Agreement, replaced NAFTA, which was, Biden was all in favor of that. The USMCA replaced it. These ridiculous, obscene trade deals that we had in the past, the president is getting us out of one after another, were causing jobs, and Biden supported all this garbage, took jobs and companies out of America. They pushed them out. Oh, hey, where'd our jobs go? Now, are we stronger or weaker when the jobs go out of the country? Are we stronger or weaker when our companies have to go abroad? And the factories, by the tens of thousands, under the policies that Biden supported, by the tens of thousands, Go out of our country, and the factories are standing there, empty buildings with, animals in them, and grass growing, weeds growing. And are we stronger or weaker? The answer is obvious. And are we more united that way? Or do we start to backbite against each other and blame each other, and then we're, dispirited and disunited? Who's the uniter? Who's the uniter? The one who insists that the jobs are staying with us and that our country is first. That doesn't mean we don't care about other countries. We love other countries, and we're best able to serve other countries from a position of strength, not from a position where we're falling apart from the inside. Fair trade deals that put America in the right position, that we can foster jobs here in our country and therefore help and serve one another. We are returning power to you, the American people. I can go on and on with all the different examples, what this president does. And remember, promises kept, every one of us and everyone we talk to. If we would just read this website, promiseskept.com, it's the president's website keeping track of all the various achievements that this administration has made. You're going to be inspired. You're going to be inspired in this election to re-elect this president and this team that he has put together. We are returning power to the American people. Now, we also, let me point out a few other dynamics. Just in these last few minutes of this speech here that he gave just last night, and he repeats these themes in all his speeches, besides returning power to the American people. And I hope this helps you understand how he's consistent with what he said. These are not just slogans. You see, his actual policies, his actual achievements, his actual achievements are bearing out what he is saying here. The other thing, we stand on the shoulder. He loves to point this out. We stand on the shoulder. Now, anybody who's wise realizes this. No matter how much success you have, in whatever field you have it, you are standing on somebody's shoulders, right? And he talks about our history. Let's read this again. You just heard him say it in this speech. We stand on the shoulders of red-blooded American patriots who poured out their heart, sweat, and soul to secure our liberty. And then he says, he loves talking about this stuff. He says, think of it and defend our freedom. Defend our freedom. He talks about, he's in Nevada, so he talks about Nevada. Pioneers, prospectors, miners, cowboys, innovators, trailblazers, tough people, great people who tamed the frontier, raised up the mighty Hoover Dam, transformed the sprawling desert into a shining oasis. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this beautiful stuff? By pointing out that we stand on the shoulders of these great patriots who paved the way, what is he doing? He's inspiring in us the same patriotism, and therefore he is what? He is uniting us. We don't stand on the shoulders of one or another faction of Americans. We don't stand on the shoulders of people in other countries. You know what a lot of the Democrat-appointed federal judges do when they make a decision, which is supposed to be based on the Constitution of the United States? They start basing it on the constitutions of other countries. That doesn't unite a country when you start looking for your guidance from countries that are founded on different constitutions than yours. Oh, sure, we can learn from everybody in the world, but the role of a judge is to enforce the Constitution of the United States. So we stand, he knows where he and we are standing as a nation. You can't unite a nation if you forget who the nation is. And you can't understand who the nation is unless you remember whose shoulders you're standing on. Don't we do this in our families? Have the opportunity to talk about the history of the family? Teach our children. We want our children to get to know their grandparents, right? And if they don't have the opportunity to do that, well, we tell them the stories that come down on the family, from the family history. So this is what the president is doing for us. And one other thing I want to point out about his speeches that he's been giving, these rally speeches, there's going to be some more on Friday. So right here on these channels, for friends, Friday, let me just look ahead here, the 18th. Okay, there's going to be 2 rallies in the same evening, 5 p.m., 8 p.m. 8 p.m. is going to be in Wisconsin, 5 p.m. is going to be in Minnesota. Watch them with me this Friday. You know what he talks about? The frontier spirit. I'm going to talk about Make America Great Again. Part of making America great again is to recapture this spirit of conquering the frontier. Is this spirit of going where no one has gone before. We wouldn't have these United States that we have right now if we didn't have people who were ready to conquer the frontier. It takes an optimism. It takes a courage. It takes an energy. It takes a vision. It takes looking forward, not being stuck in the past. And you know what it both takes and inspires? Unity. You think about it. You want to conquer a goal. You want to, let's say you've got in your neighborhood, you've got a whole section of the town that needs to be cleaned up. And you look at that and you say, you know what? This is a goal that we have now. We're going to clean this up. That brings people together. You give them a common goal, it unites them. Listen to what our president said here. We will land the first woman on the moon. And the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars. Can you imagine? Now, how many of you remember the moon landing? I was 10 that night in 1969. It was getting late at night. My family and I, we were on a little vacation up in Massachusetts. It was late at night. And I had the hot towels I was putting on my forehead to stay awake because I wanted to see that first astronaut, Neil Armstrong, put his foot on the moon. And I saw it, and so did many of you. Jan is saying he remembers it well. That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. Because we're explorers at heart. Nancy, you were 10 too, huh? We're explorers at heart. We need to conquer what has not been conquered. God has put it before us. This is how we grow. It's part of human dignity. Cecilia was 10 too. Hey, we're all in the same age group. We're still young, all of us. But this is our spirit, right? We don't grow unless we're pushing beyond our boundaries. We're pushing beyond our comfort zone. You never grow if you just stay in your comfort zone. You've got to grow. You got to have the vision. You got to have the courage. The president has this frontier spirit, and when he calls us to it as a nation, he's uniting the nation. When he calls our children to it, he's uniting the nation. Well, Annie was 10 too. This is amazing. We will land the first woman on the moon. Who's that going to be? It's amazing to think about, right? Somewhere right now is a woman who's going to be the first one to set foot on the moon, the first woman to set foot on the moon. The president wants to do that. And then the first astronaut to set foot on Mars. Who is that person? Somewhere there's that person. We're going to do it. He's committed to do it. He talked about NASA, the grass growing on the runway. Did you hear him say that? It's right over here. It's right across the way. They're neighbors to us here at our Preach for Life headquarters. We're in Titusville. They're over there on Merritt Island. NASA's just, I go in my backyard. I can look over and see it. They were closed down under the Obama-Biden administration. Why? No spirit of adventure. Democrats are so negative convention that they had, despising America. We've had enough. We don't need any of that. We need that same spirit that brought our founders here to begin with and that got us to the moon and that'll get us to Mars. The imagination that ignites in our young people. So beautiful. The frontier spirit that unites our country. So, friends, I hope that this it helps you here tonight. Let me just remind you of one more thing. We have our book club, and we're going to, I hope some of you have been getting and reading these books. I just put up on our website tonight, by the way, the prolifevote.org, prolifevote.com website, a list of books that I would encourage you to read prior to the election. For God and Country by Ralph Reed. We're going to discuss this book, not tomorrow night, but Wednesday night. We're going to discuss this book, and it's a really great one. I know some of you have gotten it. You have gotten it to read it, and you may still be finishing it. We're going to discuss it in 2 days, even if you haven't read it completely by then. Of course, you'll benefit from the discussion. And For God and Country, The Christian Case for Trump. You're a Christian? This is the man you want to vote for, and we'll explain why. And then, the following week, this will be Wednesday night. The following week, most likely on Thursday night, and sometimes this is subject to change, because if the president has a rally, we're going to listen to him, and then we'll talk about the books on a different night. But the following week, probably on Thursday, The Catholic Case for Trump by my friend and colleague Austin Ruse. The Catholic Case for Trump. Look this book up on Amazon, again on our website, prolifevote.com. You'll see right up at the front a link. It'll say book list. I think I listed like 9 books there that I recommend you read before the election. And it'll help you. You know what these books do, friends? They help you to make the case. Like hopefully, like I made the case. I hope that what I told you here tonight and explained to you from just those few minutes of the president's speech equip you. I want you to feel equipped now when you go into the conversations with your fellow believers or family members or co-workers. You go into conversations with them about the election, about the president, about the differences between Trump and Biden, Republicans and Democrats. I want you to feel equipped to be able to speak convincingly, intelligently, and persuasively. The whole idea here is we've got to get the votes, and you can get them. You can get the votes. So we're going to read these books. Will bring you to a point of such confidence, and feel that you are so ready that you'll be more effective. You'll be influencing votes. You'll help get this president reelected as he should be. So there it is. There's my presentation, my reflections for tonight. Thank you. I've been seeing all your encouraging comments, and you have my prayers, and we'll be back in the morning. We'll be broadcasting several times every day. We'll be firing people up and win this election for America. For us. May the Lord bless you. May He strengthen you. May He send you His Spirit. May He answer all your prayers. May He protect your family. May He make you strong advocates for the unborn and for this great nation. And may He bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Linda is asking, would that be 5 p.m.? No, this is, thank you for mentioning that. This is Eastern time. These times here are Eastern time. What's the matter with my marker here? Eastern time, 5 p.m. Friday, Eastern time, 8 p.m. Friday. The two next rallies of our great president, not just the president of the United States, but a great uniter of the United States. God bless you, friends. Have a great night. Father Frank Pavone here of Priests for Life. Talk to you tomorrow.